trying to Photoshop the hand shadow, but it also looks cool with the hand shadow actually.
It's not your hand.
No, it's.
Wow. Is this on the real side? No.
No, I just took the model, I went to the terrace and I played with it. That's it. I found different buildings, I placed over different buildings, and yeah. So
yeah,
there's a lot of.
This looks like real. Oh
it's
no.
not even, there's not even much of Photoshop in this, honestly. It's just
yeah, you have to use Photoshop for this, no?
Not much. No. It's actually taken also in the angle. So first I had the image of the same angle. So there are two images actually. One with the building without the model, then with the model. And the camera was positioned in a manner that the model was aligning with the terrace. You know, just that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I just removed my hand.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. Just a minute. Give me just a second.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because it took so it took some pictures from other terrace.
Sorry?
It took some pictures from other terrace.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, he explained me this before in the conversation. And then he play with the structure on different places. No? But it's nice. Huh? But it's a very blue sky.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see the structure?
No, the structure, I don't see it now. Where is the structure?
It's in the... It's back. I mean, Jose, it's in the building back of the picture. Very small.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it now. Wow. Okay, so I imagine it's this kind of pictures that you want from my structure too. The difference is that, okay, my structure is just laid down on a grass or something like this.
You know what? I find very interesting that they actually, this already happens a lot, no?
Yes. Yes.
Here again.
Yeah.
But in a more permanent way. Permanent, yes. But replaceable way. But not as weak as this thing, no?
Yeah, because it looked like that they are just, you know, it's just some tissue or some, I don't know what exactly, with hanging, just like this, but it's remained the shape of the structure. Very interesting, yes.
No, and then the landscape of the whole city changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this green fabric is basically, of course, I mean, whenever the construction is happening in any building, then to protect, to cover that building. So we always see these green fabric around. It's like
green
part
fabric.
of the...
Okay.
It is not like, I like that it's not like an imposition of a style or something like that. It's more like an upgrading of their current architecture, right?
Yeah.
It's very linked, and it is like I see it like in the middle point in between ephemeral and permanent, right? Because all these buildings all these, you know, what is already built, all these
Yeah.
pretty much everything is square, right?
Yeah.
And then the ephemeral architecture, which is, of course, these green ephemeral situations that are by accident or whatever, you know. But then this comes this kind of structure that are not as rigid as the square ones.
Yeah.
But are not as weak as the green ones.
Yeah, but the green ones are, you know, some renovation must be happening on that building. So just to protect that when the building is getting demolished, then the stones and the the debris should not fall on the road. So it is just to cover the building when any construction work is happening. It is not it is not a shed. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with creation of a space or nothing to do with making a shed over the terrace or something.
Very interesting. I mean, the language is very rich because this is only one image, but can I go forward?
Yeah, I've sent another image which is a zoomed in version of this, the last image. Maybe you can look at the last image first, not this one. Look at the last one I sent you. Yeah. So it's the same thing, which, yeah.
But are they all the terraces identical in India?
Sorry?
Are they all the terraces similar in India? Because your structure fits very well on any terrace.
Yeah, yeah. So
okay.
So this terrace, no, in India you have also. So in cities you will mostly find, especially in such a small scale, in this neighborhood, all these buildings are around 5 stories or maximum 6 stories. So you find such kind of roof which is flat.
Okay.
I mean, of course, you will have little into the city, there are higher structures, taller ones with many more floors. And in different cities, you have sloping roofs. But of course, in many cities, you have such flat roofs with some terrace structure. In many areas, you can find such a building.
Yeah, interessant.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, this one I will share also a picture where
should I stay there or change?
I'm sharing more pictures. So this is actually, with this picture I can show, like you will find a picture, this one I'll just apply over there. On WhatsApp. This terrace already had a metal structure on its roof. So what I've done is I've replaced the metal structure and placed our model. So I've shared a picture in which you will see the metal structure.
Okay.
So it instantly creates that comparison. See, Daniel, I've shared a picture with you. The last one I shared.
Okay, let me see.
The last one.
Okay, got it. Ready?
Yeah. Next, after this. After this. Keep going. The last one first, maybe. Yeah, even
Oh,
after
okay.
this. Yeah, there is one after this as well. Later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these two, the one before this and the last two. Yeah. And if you do next, you see that. So this gives a sense. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
I can stop doing that.
Yeah, this is really incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then I tried to take some images from interior. Which was yeah, these ones I still have to kind of just share with you.
So Beatriz, what do you think if you have a neighbor and your neighbor has this thing in their top?
And if my neighbor has this kind of structure over his rooftop, it's,
Yes.
it's really nice.
You see that every day of your life, like
Yeah, this is very pleasant to look at.
what
I
about
prefer this.
inside? Huh?
Yeah, I prefer this kind of structure than, for example, the metal one that show Udit in the pictures.
I've also shared some interior pictures.
Sorry, you said Udit?
Yeah, I sent a few more pictures.
Oh, okay. Mm. So
I'll have to do some Photoshop and remove. I was already doing it at
is the sky so blue in India?
yeah.
Really nice.
Sorry, once again.
Mm-hmm.
No, this one is not that good. Okay, wait, iPhone. Yeah. Don't know if I'm repeating.
I think I will have to find a rooftop with round and I will put my structure on it. So it will make very nice pictures too. Yeah, it's beautiful. Very nice. It looks like really real.
I sent there are 2-3 good ones which I have sent in the next lot.
Nice.
Yeah, if you may keep going forward, you will find the new lot also coming in. Yeah.
These shadows are very beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
The conversation starts like, I mean, it's built, you know, like
Yeah, it looks like it's built. So how did you manage to do this? Is this on the real side or is it's the
There
model?
is no site. There is no more a site.
Oh, no, this is just this is just yeah. Sorry, I thought that it was on the roof.
Yeah. So I just made sure that so I took a few pictures so that the shadows are created in the right way. Because I already had a sense of orientation, like where the west will be, where the north will be. So of course, not all the pictures are taken keeping that in mind because terraces I choose to place the model was everywhere. But there were some pictures taken, the interior views especially, where the model was held, keeping the fact, where I want the light to come from. I mean, because we designed it, keeping in mind that, okay, this side is north, this is west, this is south. So the shadows are created accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
I've shared a few more if you keep.
okay. Yes.
So
For
many
example,
pictures you took.
Yeah. This.
like these were the two elements that we were discussing, remember?
Yeah, I know. I also felt that, yeah, maybe I'll need to make the, I mean, an actual representation, I will have to make the members look even more thicker. I will have to copy them and place them next to each other if I'm not doing that in the actual model, but because right now we can see, given the scale, that these bundles have to be of more bamboos. You know, it somehow gives me that sense.
So if I had to describe something like this, I would say something like okay, those are 4 arches, right? Is that 4 arches connected in the long span, like is 50 meters also, Dito? How much is it?
Around, so from column to column is around 12 meter. In total we can just say, you know, 16 meters in total. Like the stretch of the roof on top is 16 meters.
So Beatriz is also spanning more or less the same. It's curious. I didn't notice that.
It's 19 meter, the arches. 19.
19. Okay. Okay, but then I see that after the 4 arches, there is the next structure is tensile strength of 15 meters or something like that, no?
Yeah, 15.
Tensile strength. And then the third layer is the cross bracing, packaging all the volume as a one, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty much it. Like arches, tensile elements, and the, how do you call it? Like the basketry or the cross bracing layer.
Yeah, you can say the, like, yeah. So there's a lattice. There's like a bamboo lattice. Yeah, would be. I mean, I prefer to use that word. I don't know if it's a formal word to use or not, but it's because lattice is like a mesh, a grid. So it's a grid over which then the skin will be resting or sitting or something.
It's like a grid shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Grid shell.
I mean, I remember
as it gets.
I was just saying that I remember I read about the word lattice. I first read it when I was studying the molecular structures in chemistry, in solids. But it's actually like a grid which gets created. You know, so like a mesh.
Yeah.
So we can say it a mesh or whatever.
Yeah. It's well, those are the very simple, right? I mean.
Yeah. So I do also have another observation. I was thinking, maybe I'll share it once we reach to a plan view, a top view of the model. I would comment, because I realized that the lattice can actually. So these gives you an idea how we click the pictures. You know, I wanted to show Beatrice.
Yeah.
So we did things like this, and then we stretched a bit, or like you saw the earlier pictures. We were just holding.
Yeah.
We are just holding the model,
okay,
and taking the picture in an angle that it looks like it's sitting on a terrace.
Okay. Okay.
See, like there is, like that.
So you put the model a little bit, but okay, we have to be 2% to do it because one who takes pictures.
This is a good view.
Yeah.
I just erased the, the human holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it was this picture. I just removed them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is very good.
What is that?
It is very
it's
good.
Just this much. It's just that much.
Very good.
Yeah.
You are very strong, Udit, huh?
Yeah, it's that much.
Okay.
It reminds me for a moment. It reminds me to the. I think there is a famous building in India, no? Made by Le Corbusier, I think that's French. Le
Yeah.
Corbusier.
Le Corbusier.
Yeah, he did. He did a lot of. He did a lot of. He played around a lot in India. I can say that.
There is
played around.
something with this kind of. But I think it's very interesting because this picture, for example, is just a glance. It's just an instant. Meanwhile, you walk around the building. It's not that you are going to watch all the time this structure. You know what I mean? I mean this angle. It provides so many different interpretations according to the angle and the moment and the sunshine and the sun. That is fascinating how it can lose the sense of what we know how a terrace should look like, you know, in this day, no, in today. So I think it really responds to today. Like that's scary in a way, no, for many people. But I believe that it has, of course, as special as it is, it has a special niche of the population that are willing to risk everything as long as they understand, you know, how simple can get to build something quite unexpected, you know, but in a very buildable way. I mean, if you tell them like, okay, you need to put 3 arches, let me span from here to here 15 meters, don't worry about that, you know, that's my job, you know, I will make it happen, you know, with science. And then just put a mesh after that, and I will need a couple of craftsmen and a couple of months, and you have a budget, you know, and
Yeah.
the art of simplifying the result to make it look easy, you know, so others can understand it like and if they can understand it, they own it, you know, and if they own it, the thing is going to be alive without us. That's the purpose of architecture at the end of the day. Belong to the people, right? That's a kind of it's very rich. And I can start imagining like what will happen in the future. Let's say that this model succeeded as a response to a local condition of that terrace. That's why the shape, that's why it looks like this and that, right? But then the system, what you can replicate in other terraces, like for example, that you start watching things here, and then another thing here, and then another thing here somehow, you know, and then something here, you see, then another one here, and then something weird happens here, you see. But what I find interesting is that this structure is responding to a particular building with a particular shape, particular needs, particular everything. It is not necessarily the construction system or the aesthetics of the result, but more the standardization of the diagnosis of each one of the buildings. You know what I mean?
I think he's gone.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, I can see it now, but I lost you because some network issue.
Oh, sorry.
I got disconnected again.
Yeah, I was saying that this structure that you are making now has this shape and everything because it is responding to a particular building.
Exactly.
no?
Exactly.
But then I find very interesting and curious to see what will happen if what you replicate in other buildings is not the aesthetics, is not the construction system, is not nothing of that, about the construction. What you replicate in other buildings is the way how you approach to the building.
Daniel, you know, what you are saying now is exactly, you mentioned about a system which responds to the profile of any building, okay? Because which is also very similar. You know, there is a lot of similar parameters of different buildings. They have a lot of similarity in the terraces, as you can see. And if there could be a system which can adapt by itself by applying some simple steps to mold itself to fit onto those buildings. This was my exact inquiry, you know, when I took upon this whole exercise. Exactly this, not just a particular site. This was the larger picture always in the back of my mind, which I started with, the whole thing, and which I want to come to towards the end.
It makes sense.
Now we are hitting the right thing, you know, exactly.
Well,
well done.
Yes. Go, Beatriz.
I say well done, because it's really, yeah, a very good project.
And do you agree, both, that it's architecture and everything?
Yeah,
it's also about the construction of a community of people with an aligned vision, you know. And in terms of market, maybe we can manufacture the offer of value to a particular community or city, you know, and talking directly to them in order to share this vision. And we need to manufacture and craft this sentence, right, that will talk exactly to those who are willing to, you know, in this homogeneity of architecture where everybody lives with these square buildings and everything. How about if we could put these rooftops that, because are responding to different situations, by result it is different, you know. It's just different, like different proportions, different textures, different shadings, different everything, you know. So, in the same community for the same purposes, it's different, but at the same time it's like this kind of roof bamboo building structures in India, in this town, and then the town just differentiates from the rest of the towns at a national level because it is solving a particular problem, you know. And then other towns copy something like that. I mean, we can start very little tiny, you know, for a block of houses first, you know, then maybe a district, then maybe, I mean, to grab the vision. I'm not saying that you have to create the whole business model for that now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just to grab this kind of model where it's replicable in a business way. I mean, we have to manufacture a way of finding the right problems so we can create the offer of value in terms of architecture, right? Backwards, so it makes sense with a real niche. Because this type of person that needs this kind of building is the type of niche that we are looking for. Where are they?
Exactly. And I was thinking before I started this that it may happen that, like, this is one example of an option. Like, this has a language, it's tensile, it gets, you know, the corners are pinched and all that. Okay, so in a similar way, if I also have maybe, let's say, two more or one more example of a language, okay, which may also be tensile, but which may depend upon, I think, one factor which may create this variation will be the skin, because this only allows me to have certain kinds of skin. I cannot have skin which will be simply straight. I cannot have a skin which is which has a strong slope in this option. Okay, for example, if I have an inquiry from a client who haven't who said that okay, for last 20 years he has, and this man has his house is in a place where it rains a lot. It rains all the year round. It's in southern India. It's in a state called Kerala. So he has had for last 20 years a metal roof with the same kind of blue color metal sheets that you're seeing in one of those pictures I'm sharing around. But the state is, let's say, around 3,000 kilometers south of my city. Okay, it rains a lot. It is always it's hot and humid and rains a lot. So he is looking for a replacement of a 20-year-old roof, which he had. Now, he will like to go with an option which lasts for long because he is adapted to that sort of thing. Maybe not something which is, not in the culture directly of replaceability, of taking change, more of a permanent sense. So maybe we can create 2-3 options responding to 2-3 requirements of the clients, as I was thinking right in the beginning. So was the thought. So what do you think about it? And of course, all this while, this whole thing about creating a niche to do something like this has been on my mind like a business model. If a business model could be created with this approach.
Yeah. Part of the creation of the business model to start is, I know there are many problems on the society, okay? As biggest the problem, the best for us. We need to identify bigger problems, or to be able to draw how those bigger problems look like. So yes, it's a rooftop, right? But we can talk in terms of a district, even a city, the landscape of a city, even a country. What is happening with all those square meters in the rooftops of India? It's a lot, bro. So it begins with a market discovery, more than architecture solutions.
Yeah.
First, when you mention about options, the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, we just have produced a tensile strength structure, right?
Yeah.
But then you can manufacture a compressive strength structure, a non-active structure, a semi-form active structure, and and then you have the menu of possibilities. There is not much after that with it.
Yeah.
After those structural arrangements, pretty much everything you have. Okay, so it is probably not about the structural arrangements, but how we satisfy the aspirations of upgrading of the population.
Yeah.
What is the real problem or desire or necessity that people here are truly facing?
I'll give you an example, a very, very live example of exactly the building from whose terrace I have taken all these pictures. Okay. So I used to live in this building for what? 30 years, until the age of 30 years. Okay. Now I have my studio in this building. Okay. But my residence is pretty much close by. So I go every day to this building. And this is the neighborhood I work on. Now, I know the residents, my neighbors. It's a 5-story building. Let's say roughly 4 flats or 5 flats every floor. The neighbors they have done a repairing of the terrace just the last year. And already they're getting complaints of leakages. Okay. Now they were coming up with a solution to have a shed to cover the terrace, to protect from water, for repairing, to increase the longevity of the terrace. Okay. I know that these reasons about longevity of the terrace to protect from waterproofing issues, leakages, and most importantly, to create a thermal comfort. It's going insanely hot in India, in this belt of in this latitude where I'm living, insanely hot. And they also get a shed to have the recreational space, make it like a lounge, put some good lights, and you have a kind of a party space. So I find these things, because these things are the need of people which they don't even know about.
Mhm.
Are you able to get my point? They're not driven by the need. They need it, but they kind of not know it yet. Okay, it's something like you find it in your life which you always wanted and you never knew about it. Is that okay? So, which is why people are not maybe able to give as much importance right in the beginning. So my question is, now that let's say the neighbors of my building want a shed, how, and if I pitch to them a bamboo roof, okay, now what would that scene be like? That is important to understand. A very simple, modest house, which which wants to cover the terrace in a nice way. What are the options? Because I know for sure people are bored with metal, but that is the only thing they get. They're bored with all these blue color looking, corrugated galvanized iron roof. Okay, but they don't get any other option. So if I bring in bamboo there, how am I going to compete with the existing solutions? Those are going to be the things. Because the questions they would ask will be, people already see a lot of bamboo here in India. It's not a new material for them. They've already built a perception towards bamboo that it is a temporary material. And people don't want temporary things here. They want things which can stay by itself, which can, not so big maintenance. Which are the always two questions I have to face when I try to talk about bamboo. So things like replaceability, or things like a temporary thing, or something between this and that won't may work with some very niche and small clients, but if we are thinking of this in terms of a business model, then it won't. So this is the scenario.
Well, you know what, Udit? I think it really deserves the market study with the structure of a system of manufacturing, the marketing, the business, the finances. How is this thing going to solve what, and how is going to be the business model? Okay, but again, I mean, I want to be super clear on the meaning of business model, because it's not that necessarily you have to get rich or something like that directly because of a business model. Now, what we are trying to do more than that, I mean, it can happen, but it is not going to happen if the thing is not solving something that is activated by an economical mechanism, right? It must have the element of economy, of course, as well as ecology and as well as social, right?
Yeah. So, Daniel, when I say business model, I'm not saying from the point of view that it is gonna scale very fast and I'll make a lots of money and profit and I'm going to be very rich. So, I'm saying more from the point of view where I can bring viability.
Viability.
Where I can bring viability, and where I crack and I understand, and we figure out the right mechanisms, costing, whatever, this and that, whatever it takes to make a product. It's almost like a product. It's like a product which can mold itself based on the profile of my terrace. It's like that.
Yes. No, basically, we need to focus on two things only, right? of course, like any business, right? First, the quality of the product. But second,
Yeah.
the revenue.
Quality and revenue, you said?
And that's it. That's all we need to discuss.
Yeah. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the quality will entail what all? Let's go in deeper. What do I mean by quality?
By quality.
Yeah.
By quality, I will define it as, of course, as an engineering ability of sustained structures and being able to build them. You know, of course, that is the baseline. Like there is no congratulations for that. That is the delivery that we guarantee. Okay, we stand stuff up. Okay, that's not a question. By quality, I mean if you are or not in tune with the possible market for this kind of special product. The quality of alignment between you and the rest of the people who are willing to pay for this, right?
So I understand by quality we mean two things. It should be strong. Okay, structurally it should be strong, and second, it should be durable. As long as people are concerned, as long as the mass is concerned, they want it to be strong and durable. And of course, the aesthetics and all is something which comes along. It's an added to them. It comes along because, as we know, they are going with the least aesthetic looking product available to them in the market. All those, like the image you saw, those blue color metal sheets. Okay, they don't love it, but they have it.
Yeah, in maybe I think it's in the third step out of 10. There is the analysis of competition, where we take time to analyze what is possible for people to obtain in the case they need to solve the problem today, right? What is available, and we analyze that. The only thing that we have now is a hypothesis.
Yes.
That we need to test in the market. But before testing in the market, we need to manufacture an offer value, right?
I agree, yes.
And that offer value, again, it starts with the definition of the niche, which we have a good ideas. In the very beginning is the establishment of those 5 first niches that you already wrote down, more or less, right?
Yeah.
And then deciding who are we going to talk to, and then move forward. That is only step number 1 out of 10, right? But what we want to make is actually the system to attract the kind of person that you are talking to them directly. Not cold audience. You want hot audience, people who are in the line, you know? And to attract to them is not a matter of luck. It really belongs to a system that is predictable, that has consequences, meaning that results will happen. You like it or not, things will happen if we apply these systems, right? And the more important thing is that we receive the feedback from the market.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we are not going to talk to architects ever, or designers ever. We're going to talk to people, you know?
Yeah.
So we need to manufacture this offer value as simple as it gets. And that, my friend, is not as easy as it looks. To get simple requires a lot of work, right? But don't worry. I mean, yes, it requires a lot of work, but it's not blind work. Again, just like there is a map, lucky of us, there is a map, lucky of us. We just need, I would say, if we didn't do anything else, in our lives, which is not the case, but if we didn't do anything else, we need 10 weeks to develop from A to C the whole offer of value as a business runnable model. You see? But let's say we don't have 10 weeks in a row. Let's say 5 months. I would say at least 8 months, maybe.
Just like 10 weeks, so 40 hours every week. So 400 hours. If we give 400 hours to this.
Yeah, I would say 10 weeks. Like consistent 10 weeks, working in between weeks and meeting once a week with results. That's 10 weeks. But of course, I know that maybe, you know, I would say from 20 to 30 weeks, maybe, because more activities.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But how
but for now,
does it
yeah, you go.
does it look interesting enough for you to, in a sense, like I should give a shot to this? I mean, I'm convinced.
Look, I think you should, and I will be interested to be with you, because as well with Beatriz, for example, in the case of Beatriz, I don't see a bamboo project in Beatriz project. I see a development or establishment of a new practice in Europe for you too, because you are part of it. Because the Beatriz project has a lot of input from you. Sorry, perdón.
But this has, I mean, I think what I have right now is just a potential, a prospect, not. I mean, this model and these images, it just shows a prospect of project. It shows possibilities, because it's not something meant for one. It's just showing possibilities of what it can be, what it can become.
Yes, the thing is that with such a diversity of buildings in India, and how to respond locally to each one of them, if there are many, they are very different. That's part of the benefits of having a system, right? At least a map that takes you to A to C in terms of concept for a locality, right? So I think that part of the value to make this massive, if it has the chance, is to make the design process as local as possible, but as simple and fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to rely on a great inspirational design before building something that needs to be quickly, needs to be solved, needs to be under budget, you know? So the creative part needs to be synthesized, needs to be shorter, but at the same time needs to be high quality.
Yeah.
Which is very rare for the market. Usually things that are built in a rush are just grabbed, you know?
Yeah.
So that could be a hypothesis of starting to investigate the market in that regard, right? How to make high quality light structures in that part of India, in that city of India. I will go very, very local, because as soon as you see one structure there, the neighbor will want another, and the other neighbor will want another, you know? And then these kind of visualizations will help a lot. Like you have one structure, then next year you have a second one that is different, but and then how about a landscape, you know, a new landscape? And it will be like an effect. We can visualize an effect, just like the Bilbao Museum, you know, that classic.
No, you know, honestly, I'll tell you something which what also drives me. See, you can see that I honestly and very sincerely believe in bamboo as a material, right? There is, and I realized that this could also, I mean, more, which is why I'm saying that, okay, there is, of course, the viability of the business is part of the story. But it is the whole reason why I'm willing to be in it is not just profit oriented. Like, it's not about making a lot of money. It is also about being able to bring bamboo as a respectable structure that people can adopt. Now, people may not start making their houses right away with bamboo, but they can very well have a shed on their terrace, which can be a starting point for them to start believing in it and to start treating it with not as a poor man's timber. So, which is what I keep telling, in India, you talk about bamboo to anyone. It's like the cheapest material to build. It's lying here and there. Okay. Which is why in good projects, people don't give it that much of respect because it has a tag of poor man's timber. We should understand that this is the cultural perception of bamboo all over India, even in the places where it is abundant, because people have seen it so much. Because India is a place you have bamboos everywhere. Okay, different species. So in such a condition, it's a very interesting scenario. It's like you have so much of bamboo everywhere, and you have seen it being used in temporary basis throughout your life for roadside hawkers, for small tea stalls, where you just, like along the urban fabric, or it may be in old houses in the villages, okay, which you have a lot of concerns about maintenance, about treatment, about this and that, and you have no knowledge of it. No, of course, people don't even know that there is a way to treat bamboo. Okay? So in such a cultural